The Stoics believed that control over your emotions and actions was the ultimate form of strength. If you've ever wondered when to pull back and let her chase you, this is your guide. By strategically ignoring her at the right moments, you can ignite her curiosity and desire, flipping the dynamic in your favor. Stick around until the end, because each step builds on the last. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share your stories. Let's dive into the psychology of attraction. Chapter 1. Don't give her everything at the beginning. The excitement and thrill of a new relationship often lead men to pour everything they have into it from the very start, showering her with constant attention, sending long, heartfelt texts, and giving over-the-top compliments. While this might feel like a natural way to express your interest and affection, it can actually backfire in surprising ways. Why? Because people don't truly value what is handed to them freely. They value what they have to earn, what feels exclusive, and what holds a sense of mystery. In the early stages of a relationship, it's crucial to resist the urge to lay all your cards on the table. Instead of overwhelming her with everything about you at once, keep parts of yourself a mystery. Share your life, thoughts, and interests in measured doses, unveiling pieces of yourself gradually. This doesn't mean being distant or withholding, but rather allowing the connection to unfold naturally. When you leave some aspects of your personality or experiences unsaid or unexplored, you create an air of intrigue. She'll find herself wondering about you, curious to uncover the layers you haven't yet revealed. That curiosity is powerful. It keeps her engaged and motivates her to invest time and energy into truly getting to know you. This approach isn't about playing games, it's about understanding human psychology. People are naturally drawn to what feels scarce or exclusive, a concept rooted in the scarcity principle. When something is overly available or given too freely, its perceived value diminishes. On the other hand, when your time and attention feel limited or purposeful, it sends a clear message: your energy is valuable, and it's not given lightly. By not being endlessly available or overly eager, you create a dynamic where she begins to cherish the moments you do share, instead of taking them for granted. Another key aspect of not giving too much too soon is that it maintains a healthy balance of effort in the relationship. When one person overinvests early on, it can create an imbalance where the other feels either overwhelmed or less inclined to contribute. By pacing your efforts, you ensure that the relationship grows in a way that feels balanced, natural, and rewarding for both of you. Mutual investment fosters mutual respect, creating a foundation for something deeper and longer lasting. The Stoics, known for their timeless wisdom, deeply understood the value of moderation. They believed that too much of anything, even something as seemingly positive as attention, could diminish its worth. In the context of a relationship, this means recognizing that your time, energy, and affection are precious resources. By offering them in moderation, you enhance their value, showing her that your attention is meaningful rather than routine. This not only makes her appreciate your presence, but also ensures that you maintain your own emotional balance throughout the relationship. Moreover, pacing the relationship allows both of you to truly assess compatibility. By not rushing to reveal everything about yourself or immerse yourself fully in the relationship, you create space to evaluate whether the connection is built on solid ground. It's easy to get swept up in the honeymoon phase and overlook red flags or mismatched priorities. But by taking your time, you gain clarity and ensure that the relationship is worth investing in. This approach also sets you apart in a world where many rush to impress. Taking your time, maintaining an air of mystery, and showing restraint make you stand out. It demonstrates that you are secure in yourself and confident enough to let the relationship develop organically. This kind of self-assurance is magnetic and sends the message that you don't need to prove your worth, you already know it. It subtly shows that you're a man of value who understands his own boundaries and isn't desperate for validation. Ultimately, Not giving her everything at the beginning is about creating a dynamic that fosters respect, intrigue, and mutual effort. It's about valuing yourself and your time while giving her the opportunity to genuinely value you. This approach isn't just about relationships, it's about living intentionally and maintaining your self-respect. By embracing this mindset, you build connections that are deeper, more meaningful, and far more likely to stand the test of time. It's not about withholding love, it's about pacing it in a way that creates a relationship built on strong, unshakable foundations. Chapter 2. Ignore her when she tries to make you jealous. Jealousy is often wielded as a tool to provoke a reaction. She might casually mention other guys in conversation, openly flirt in your presence, or post carefully curated pictures and updates on social media that seem designed to get under your skin. These actions are rarely random, they're calculated moves meant to test you, gauge your emotional stability, and assess how much control she has over the dynamic between you. If you react emotionally, whether with anger, frustration, or desperation, you inadvertently hand her the power, allowing her to dictate the tone of your relationship. This is where adopting a Stoic mindset becomes your greatest advantage. Instead of falling for the bait, you must practice composure and emotional detachment. React to her provocations with indifference, as though her efforts have barely registered in your mind. A calm, measured response like "that's nice" or even complete silence sends a powerful message. It communicates that you're unshaken, unbothered, and in full control of your emotions. This attitude not only demonstrates confidence and self-mastery, but also signals that you're someone who cannot be easily manipulated. When you refuse to engage with her attempts, something remarkable happens. You disrupt the predictable pattern. She expects jealousy, confrontation, or some form of validation for her actions. Your refusal to react breaks this cycle, leaving her confused and intrigued. Why isn't he responding? Does he not care? Is he truly this secure and confident? These unanswered questions will occupy her thoughts, flipping the power dynamic. Instead of you chasing her attention, she'll find herself working harder to earn yours. This subtle but powerful shift is essential for maintaining a position of strength and fostering genuine attraction. Choosing to ignore her efforts to make you jealous also sends a deeper, unspoken message. You operate from a place of abundance. Your calm demeanor suggests that you're not desperate for her validation because you're already secure in yourself and your worth. This is an incredibly attractive quality. Women are naturally drawn to men who exude self-assurance, independence, and emotional stability. By refusing to play along with petty games, you position yourself as someone who demands respect and cannot be easily swayed by trivial tactics. Moreover, ignoring these provocations is not just about her, it's also about protecting your own peace of mind. Reacting emotionally to manipulative tactics drains your energy and clouds your judgment. By choosing not to engage, you maintain clarity and preserve your emotional balance. This not only makes you more appealing, but also strengthens you as an individual. Emotional mastery is a sign of resilience, and this resilience will serve you well in every area of life, not just in relationships. As time goes on, she'll begin to realize that these jealousy tactics simply don't work on you. This realization forces her to reassess her approach. If she's genuinely interested in building a connection, she'll abandon superficial gains and engage with you on a deeper, more authentic level. On the other hand, if her attempts to provoke jealousy persist and there's no real substance behind them, it's a clear indication that she may not be the right person for you. Either way, you emerge as the one in control, strong, confident, and unaffected by superficial ploys. Ignoring her attempts isn't about neglecting her entirely, it's about demonstrating emotional mastery. You show her, and yourself, that you're above petty gains and operate from a position of strength and integrity. This ability to remain composed and centered sets you apart, making you someone worth respecting and admiring. Additionally, this approach reinforces the idea that you're not easily swayed by external validation. In a world where so many people are quick to react and overcompensate to avoid feelings of insecurity, your calmness becomes a rarity. It highlights that you're comfortable in your own skin and don't rely on anyone else's behavior to dictate your sense of self-worth. This makes you not just more attractive, but also a role model for emotional resilience. Ultimately, refusing to engage in jealousy games isn't just a strategy for relationships, it's a reflection of your values and inner strength. By holding firm and staying true to your principles, you communicate that you're not just any man, you're a man who knows his worth and refuses to compromise it. This kind of emotional mastery doesn't just attract others, it also ensures that any relationship you pursue is built on a solid foundation of mutual respect, admiration, and authenticity. Chapter 3: Be busy and have your own life. One of the most universally attractive qualities in a man is a fulfilling and independent life outside of dating. A man who is deeply engaged in his passions, career, friendships, and personal growth exudes confidence and purpose. Conversely, if your schedule revolves entirely around her, you risk becoming too predictable, too available, and ultimately less intriguing. When you're genuinely busy, you send a clear message: your life is rich and complete, and she's not your sole focus. This doesn't mean ignoring her or downplaying her importance, it's about maintaining your individuality and independence. The scarcity of your time naturally increases its value, making the moments you do spend together feel more significant and special. From a psychological perspective, people are drawn to what they perceive as valuable and hard to obtain. When you demonstrate that your time is precious, she'll view you as someone worth pursuing. If you're always available, the effort required to gain your attention diminishes, which can reduce her motivation to chase you. By contrast, when your availability is limited, she'll work harder to secure her place in your life. The Stoics emphasized the importance of self-mastery, a principle that applies perfectly here. A man who prioritizes his own goals and interests is someone who cannot be easily swayed or derailed by external influences. This steadfastness is inherently attractive because it signals emotional resilience and a deep sense of purpose. Imagine you're building a life filled with meaningful activities, whether it's advancing in your career, pursuing a creative hobby, or nurturing your social circle. When you meet a woman, she becomes curious about this dynamic life you've cultivated. She'll want to learn more about what drives you and how she can fit into your world. This natural curiosity fosters a sense of intrigue and attraction. Having your own life also serves as a safeguard against becoming overly dependent on a relationship for happiness. When your sense of fulfillment comes from within, your achievements, your passions, your growth, you're less likely to lose yourself in a relationship. This stability not only benefits you, but also enhances the quality of the connection you share with her. Let's consider a practical scenario. Suppose you've planned a weekend to focus on a personal project or spend time with friends, and she suggests last-minute plans. Politely let her know that you're unavailable but would love to plan something for another time. This response shows that you value your commitment and that you won't drop everything at a moment's notice. It also sets a standard for mutual respect in your interactions. It's important to note that being busy doesn't mean pretending to be unavailable or playing games. Authenticity is key. Your life should genuinely reflect the priorities and passions you set for yourself. Women are perceptive. They can tell the difference between someone who's truly engaged in their own life and someone who's merely creating an illusion of busyness. When you're truly living a fulfilling life, it radiates confidence and self-assurance. You'll naturally become more appealing, not just to her, but to everyone around you. Your achievements and interests will give you plenty to talk about, making your conversations more engaging and multidimensional. Another benefit of being busy is that it keeps you from overthinking or overanalyzing the relationship. When your life is full, you simply don't have the time or energy to dwell on minor uncertainties. This relaxed attitude is refreshing and attractive, as it shows that you are secure in yourself and not overly reliant on external validation. The Stoics often spoke about the value of focusing on what is within your control. Your growth, your passions, and your time are all aspects of life that you can actively shape. By channeling your energy into these areas, you create a life that is not only fulfilling, but also magnetic to others. Furthermore, having your own life sets a powerful precedent for any relationship. It establishes that you're not looking for someone to complete you, but rather someone to share in the richness of your journey. This mindset creates a partnership built on mutual respect and admiration rather than dependency. For example, if you're passionate about fitness and have a regular routine, maintain it even after meeting someone new. If you're working on advancing in your career, continue prioritizing your professional development. These commitments show her that you're a man of action, someone who doesn't compromise on his values or goals. The beauty of this approach is that it creates a natural balance. When you're deeply engaged in your own life, the time you spend with her becomes more meaningful. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. Each interaction feels intentional and purposeful, making her appreciate your presence even more. In the end, the goal isn't to create distance, but to maintain the individuality that makes you unique and compelling. As the Stoics would advise, focus on cultivating a life of purpose and excellence. When you do, everything else, including attraction and meaningful relationships, will naturally follow. Chapter 4. Don't change your plans for her. When she asks you to cancel your plans for her, it can feel tempting to agree. After all, who wouldn't want to please someone they're interested in? However, consistently rearranging your schedule to accommodate her sends an unintentional message: your time is flexible, and she can always come first. While this might seem considerate in the moment, it ultimately undermines your value. By prioritizing her over your existing commitments, you risk projecting a lack of structure and independence. Women are naturally drawn to men who have a sense of purpose and direction. If you're willing to drop everything for her, she may begin to see you as overly eager or even desperate for her attention. This dynamic can diminish the sense of mystery and challenge that often fuels attraction. Instead, honor the commitments you've already made. Whether it's a plan with friends, a work obligation, or even personal time you've set aside for yourself, stick to it. This isn't about being rigid or dismissive, it's about showing that your time holds value and that you have a life filled with purpose and priorities. The Stoics believed in the importance of discipline and self-respect. They understood that a fulfilling life is built on a foundation of principles and commitments. When you consistently uphold your plans, you demonstrate not only self-respect but also emotional resilience. You show her that your happiness and fulfillment don't hinge on her presence alone. This approach doesn't mean you should be cold or indifferent to her requests. There will be times when adjustments are reasonable and considerate. For example, if she has an urgent need or a rare opportunity arises, it's fine to be flexible. The key is to strike a balance, ensuring that your flexibility doesn't become a habit that compromises your own priorities. One of the hidden benefits of maintaining your plans is the sense of intrigue it creates. When you're not always available, she begins to wonder about your life beyond her. Who are you spending time with? What are you working on? This curiosity can draw her closer, making her more eager to understand and become a part of your world. Moreover, by holding firm to your commitments, you are subtly challenging her to respect your time. This establishes a dynamic of mutual regard, where both parties recognize and appreciate each other's independence. It's this balance of connection and autonomy that forms the foundation of a healthy, lasting relationship. From a psychological perspective, humans are wired to value what isn't easily attainable. When you make yourself too available, you unintentionally reduce the perceived value of your time and attention. Conversely, by maintaining boundaries and prioritizing your plans, you elevate the significance of the moments you do share with her. Let's consider a practical example. Suppose you have plans to meet a friend for dinner, and she asks you to cancel so you can spend the evening together instead. Politely explain that you've already committed to your friend, but would love to plan something for another time. This response accomplishes several things. It shows that you honor your word, reinforces your independence, and leaves her anticipating your next meeting. The Stoics taught that true strength lies in consistency and self-control. When you resist the urge to drop everything for her, you're exercising this strength. You're staying true to your values and demonstrating that you're a man who lives with purpose. This steadiness is incredibly attractive, as it signals reliability and emotional maturity. Another benefit of sticking to your plans is the sense of confidence it instills in you. When you uphold your commitments, you reinforce your self-worth and your ability to set and maintain boundaries. This confidence radiates outward, making you more appealing not just to her, but to everyone around you. It's also worth noting that this approach encourages her to respect your time and efforts. When she sees that you take your commitment seriously, she's more likely to value the time you do spend together. This dynamic fosters a deeper appreciation for your relationship, as it's built on mutual effort rather than constant availability. In the long run, maintaining your independence benefits both of you. It ensures that your relationship is based on genuine connection rather than convenience or dependency. It also allows you to continue growing as an individual, which in turn enriches the relationship as a whole. So, the next time she asks you to change your plans, pause and consider the bigger picture. By standing firm, you're not just preserving your schedule, you're reinforcing your self-respect, fostering mutual respect, and creating a dynamic that's both intriguing and fulfilling. In the words of the Stoics, discipline is destiny. Let your actions reflect this principle, and the rewards will follow. Chapter 5. Ignore her in public and let her come to you. In a social setting, one of the most subtle yet powerful strategies for sparking attraction is to resist the urge to approach her. Instead, immerse yourself in the environment, engage with others, enjoy the moment, and project an air of confidence and self-assurance. This calculated indifference speaks volumes, signaling that you are a man of high value, someone who doesn't need to chase or seek validation. When you don't immediately gravitate toward her, you create an aura of mystery. Women are naturally intrigued by men who aren't overly available or predictable. By not vying for her attention, you set yourself apart from others in the room. This unexpected behavior makes her wonder about you. Why aren't you chasing her like the others? What's so special about you that you're completely at ease without her acknowledgement? Curiosity is a potent psychological trigger, and when you activate it, you make her want to come closer to solve the puzzle. Social dynamics often play into perceptions of value. A man who confidently holds his ground, enjoying the company of others and appearing unbothered, naturally stands out. This isn't about arrogance or dismissiveness, it's about demonstrating independence. By focusing on the moment and those around you, you project the idea that your world is already full and vibrant. This makes her perceive you as someone who doesn't need her attention to feel validated, someone who is complete in himself. The Stoics often emphasized the importance of being present and unshaken by external factors. In this context, ignoring her isn't an act of rudeness, but a demonstration of your composure. You're not playing hard to get, you're genuinely content with your surroundings. This authenticity is magnetic. People are drawn to those who exude calm confidence and an effortless sense of control. When she notices that you're not chasing after her, a psychological shift occurs. Women are accustomed to being approached and sought after in social settings. By breaking this pattern, you make her question her assumptions and pique her interest. She might find herself wondering if she's misread your level of interest, leading her to seek confirmation by initiating contact herself. This shift not only draws her toward you, but also sets the stage for a dynamic where she invests effort into the connection. The power of this approach lies in the balance it creates. By not pursuing her, you place the ball in her court. This subtle move allows you to observe her behavior and gauge her level of interest. If she moves toward you, it's a clear indication that she's intrigued. And because she's the one initiating, you naturally gain the upper hand in shaping the interaction. When she approaches, it's essential to maintain your composed demeanor. Engage her warmly but avoid immediately showering her with attention. Let her feel that her effort to reach out was worth it, but don't tip the balance by appearing overly eager. A confident, measured response reinforces the dynamic you've established, that you are a man who values himself and his time. This strategy also aligns with the Stoic principle of self-control. In a world where many are quick to seek approval or validation, exercising restraint becomes a mark of strength. You're showing that you're not easily swayed by external factors or societal pressures to act a certain way. This steadiness not only boosts your confidence, but also earns you respect. Moreover, this approach allows you to observe her reactions and intentions more clearly. By stepping back, you can see how she navigates the space and whether her interest is genuine or fleeting. This perspective helps you make more informed decisions about how to proceed, ensuring that any connection you build is based on mutual respect and authenticity. It's important to note that ignoring her in public doesn't mean treating her with cold indifference. If you do interact, keep it light and friendly, but avoid monopolizing her attention. This balance keeps the dynamic intriguing without crossing into dismissiveness or detachment. Another benefit of this approach is the confidence it builds within yourself. By focusing on your enjoyment and refusing to seek validation, you reinforce your sense of self-worth. This inner confidence is palpable and often more attractive than any overt gesture could be. Ultimately, allowing her to come to you in a social setting establishes a dynamic of mutual effort. It shows that you're not just another person clamoring for her attention, but someone who values connection on equal terms. This creates a foundation for a relationship where both parties feel valued and engaged. The Stoics believed in leading by example and living in alignment with one's values. By embodying confidence, composure, and self-assuredness in social settings, you not only attract her attention, but also set the tone for a dynamic that's rooted in mutual respect and intrigue. Chapter 6. If she becomes angry, ignore her and reassess. Anger is a natural human emotion, but it often serves as a window into deeper motivations and feelings. When a woman becomes angry, particularly in response to perceived neglect or a lack of attention, it's essential to stay grounded. Her reaction might not be about the surface issue at hand, but rather an emotional trigger designed to gauge your response. In moments like this, ignoring her anger, at least initially, can be a powerful tool. When she lashes out, it's important to maintain composure. Anger often stems from frustration, unmet expectations, or even a desire to manipulate a situation in her favor. If you immediately react emotionally or engage in the confrontation, you're essentially stepping into her frame and allowing her to control the dynamic. Instead, take a mental step back. Observe her behavior without rushing to defend yourself or offer explanations. This pause is crucial for clarity. The Stoics believed in separating what you can control from what you cannot. Her anger falls squarely into the latter category. You cannot control how she feels or chooses to express those feelings, but you can control how you respond. By refusing to be drawn into unnecessary drama, you demonstrate emotional strength and self-mastery, qualities that not only protect your peace of mind, but also challenge her to reassess her approach. Ignoring her anger doesn't mean dismissing her entirely. It's about setting boundaries and refusing to entertain reactions that lack justification. If her anger seems disproportionate or manipulative, let her cool off. People often realize the irrationality of their emotions when given time and space. Your calm demeanor, in contrast to her emotional outburst, underscores your maturity and shows that you won't be swayed by volatility. However, while ignoring is a valuable initial tactic, reassessment is equally important. Take a moment to evaluate the situation objectively. Is her anger coming from a place of genuine hurt, or is it a tactic to regain control or draw attention? The difference matters. If she's expressing legitimate concerns, it's worth addressing them thoughtfully, on your terms, and when both of you are in a calm state. But if her anger feels manipulative or rooted in insecurity, it's a red flag worth considering. From a psychological standpoint, emotional outbursts are often attempts to test boundaries. If you consistently respond with calm detachment, she'll learn that you're not easily manipulated. This doesn't mean you're cold or indifferent, it means you prioritize rationality over chaos. Over time, this approach can even encourage her to communicate more respectfully, knowing that tantrums won't elicit the reaction she desires. The Stoics emphasized the importance of aligning your actions with your values. If her anger persists without clear justification, it may be time to reevaluate the relationship. Ask yourself, does her behavior align with the kind of connection you're seeking? Is she adding value to your life, or is she introducing unnecessary conflict? These questions help clarify whether it's worth investing further effort or whether it's time to step away. Sometimes, ignoring anger can serve as a mirror. When her attempts to provoke you fail, she's forced to confront her behavior and emotions. This self-reflection can lead to growth on her part, especially if she values the relationship. By remaining calm, you give her the space to recognize the futility of unjustified anger and adjust her approach. In moments of confrontation, it's also helpful to remember the power of silence. Silence is not weakness, it's a strategic tool. When you choose not to engage, you convey that you won't be dragged into petty arguments or emotional theatrics. This silence creates a void, forcing her to fill it with something more constructive or meaningful. At its core, ignoring anger is about preserving your peace and staying true to your principles. Relationships should elevate you, not pull you into unnecessary drama. By handling her outbursts with grace and composure, you set the tone for a connection that values respect and rationality over chaos and control. Ultimately, if her anger reveals deeper incompatibilities or patterns of manipulation, you'll need to make a tough but necessary choice. The Stoics taught that your well-being should never depend on external forces. If a relationship disrupts your inner peace, it's a sign that it may not align with your higher purpose. In such cases, walking away isn't just an act of self-preservation, it's an act of self-respect. Ignoring her anger and reassessing the situation is a twofold strategy that reflects your commitment to emotional control and rational decision-making. It demonstrates that while you value connection, you won't compromise your integrity or values to appease unwarranted outbursts. This approach not only preserves your own peace, but also sets a standard for the kind of relationship you deserve. Chapter 7. Make the first move, then pull back. Taking the first step in any interaction is a declaration of confidence, and confidence is one of the most magnetic qualities you can possess. When you plan a date, start a meaningful conversation, or make a bold gesture, you signal that you are not afraid to take charge. Women are naturally drawn to men who exude leadership and decisiveness because these traits demonstrate stability, self-assurance, and a sense of direction. However, the real power of making the first move lies not just in the act itself, but in what you do afterward. Once you've shown your interest, the key is to step back and allow her to respond. This isn't about playing games, it's about creating a balance. If you bombard her with follow-ups or try to dominate the dynamic, you risk coming across as overly eager or dependent on her validation. Instead, pulling back gives her the space to process her feelings and take the initiative herself. This moment of pause introduces a tension that can be both exciting and irresistible. Psychologically, this tactic taps into a principle called the law of reciprocation. When you make the first move, she feels compelled to reciprocate your interest, but stepping back forces her to meet you halfway. By not constantly pursuing, you show that while you're interested, you're not desperate or reliant on her response. This demonstrates emotional strength and independence, qualities that challenge her to invest in the connection. Pulling back after making the first move also creates mystery. She'll find herself wondering about your next step or questioning how invested you are. This curiosity works in your favor, as humans are naturally drawn to the unknown. By not revealing your full hand, you make her more eager to seek out your attention and learn more about you. The suspense keeps the interaction dynamic and exciting, fostering a sense of anticipation that deepens the attraction. From a Stoic perspective, this approach aligns with the principle of self-control. The Stoics emphasized the importance of moderation in all things, including relationships. Making the first move requires assertiveness, but stepping back afterward requires restraint. Together, these actions demonstrate a mastery over your impulses and a refusal to let your emotions dictate your behavior. This composure not only keeps you grounded, but also signals to her that you're someone who can maintain balance, even in the throes of attraction. Furthermore, pulling back doesn't mean withdrawing entirely. It's about letting her come to you while maintaining a steady and composed demeanor. During this phase, focus on your own life, your passions, goals, and personal growth. This detachment reinforces the idea that your happiness and fulfillment don't hinge on her reaction. She'll see that you're someone who values yourself and your time, which only enhances your appeal. This dynamic also shifts the balance of power. When you make the first move and then pull back, you subtly position yourself as the prize. She'll begin to realize that your attention isn't something to be taken for granted, and this realization will compel her to put in effort to keep the connection alive. The push-pull rhythm creates a dance of attraction, where both parties are actively engaged without either feeling overwhelmed or neglected. As the interaction progresses, she'll likely begin to pursue you more actively, either through initiating conversations, suggesting meetups, or showing increased enthusiasm in her responses. When this happens, it's crucial to remain consistent and composed. Acknowledge her efforts, but don't rush to overcompensate. This balance of giving and withholding ensures that the dynamic remains intriguing and prevents the connection from becoming one-sided. Ultimately, making the first move and then pulling back is about creating a partnership rooted in mutual effort and respect. It's a demonstration of your confidence and self-respect, as well as a challenge for her to match your level of investment. This approach not only fosters attraction, but also lays the foundation for a healthy and balanced relationship where both individuals feel valued and empowered. By embracing this strategy, you'll embody the Stoic ideal of balance and control, navigating the complexities of attraction with poise and purpose. She won't just be drawn to your actions, but to the emotional experience you create, one of intrigue, respect, and undeniable magnetism. Attraction isn't about playing games, it's about understanding human psychology and valuing yourself. By knowing when to ignore her and focusing on your own growth and composure, you naturally spark her interest and make her chase you. If you found this video helpful, remember to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Have you used any of these strategies before? Let us know your story. We'd love to hear it.